Hello, caregivers. It's Virginia. I'm here today. I just wanted to chat. I don't want to, but I know that it's time and I know that I need to and that I have to share my caregiving story, my journey. Um, there's a lot going on in caregiving that is not being talked about. And it's not being talked about for many, many, many different reasons. And I'm not going to go into the reasons why I think it's not being talked about right now. I'm just going to set the stage so that we can start having some conversation. So, I'm going to start tonight by sharing my caregiving journey with you all so you understand kind of where I started at, how I got started, how I ended up where I am today. Um, and I'm sharing this story for clarification because most of you, when you hear my caregiving story, I say that I took care of my sister, which I did. But I think it's important that I clarify that this is not was not my biological sister. And the main reason why I'm clarifying this um, is because I do have biological sisters. And I don't want anyone that's listening, I'm doing this on my personal page. I don't want anyone that's listening to think that something is wrong with one of my biological sisters because there are people who know me like for real in real life and they know that I have two biological sisters. So I don't want to give anyone, first of all, the impression that something happened to one of my biological sisters. And then secondly, understanding the relationship between me and my sister will help to kind of understand how I ended up becoming her caregiver. So, again, my sister is not my biological sister. I met my sister about 10 years ago. I was actually dating her brother. So, for a lot of people, they'll put me as like an in law, but I wasn't really an in law. I'm still not an in law because I'm not married to him. But we met at Thanksgiving dinner, and it was back before COVID, where Black Friday happened on Thanksgiving Day. So you got eating, and then Friday evening around 5 or 6 or something like that, Black Friday started. Everybody was rushed out to the stores and they started their shopping or whatever. So we met at Thanksgiving dinner and we were sitting around the table, and the entire time she just reminded me so much of my own little sister. So I instantly connected with her because she looked like my sister. She behaved like my little sister. And she was asking who was going to go Black Friday shopping with her. She wanted to go get a TV. Y'all know they used to sell the TVs for dirt cheap. They were cheap TVs anyway, but they sold them even cheaper for Black Friday. So she kept asking, and everybody was saying no, they weren't going to go or just putting her off. And it was funny to me because in my family, my own little sister, she wouldn't even have asked anyone but me, and she would have known that as soon as she told me she wanted to go to Walmart, we would have been going. So it's kind of unique to see this paradigm in her family where she was asking, and she's the youngest sister, and she wasn't getting what she was wanting. So it was like strange to me, like that does not happen in my family. My little sister gets everything she wants. So nevertheless, about 5 o'clock came around or 6 o'clock, whenever we were supposed to go. And I looked at her and I said, "Do you want to go?" And she said, "Are you going with me?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go with you. Come on." So we got ready to go. And guess what? By the time all was said and done, we had a carload of people. So everybody wanted to go. Nobody wanted to let her go, wanted to let her know that they wanted to go. So, nevertheless, me and her instantly became sisters that day. There was just a connection between us, there was a bond between us that only got stronger as time went on. And it had nothing to do with my relationship with her brother. It was just truly a relationship that we had. We had a special connection. So, fast forward, she got sick in 2021. Thanksgiving of 2020, we met at another sibling's house. I call all of them my siblings, okay? Right? So I'm just connected to the entire family. I call all of them my siblings. So we were at Thanksgiving dinner and I was getting ready to leave. And she took me and she said, "Sis, I love you." And I said, "I know, I love you too." And she said, "No, sis, I love you." And I said, "I love you too." And she said, you don't understand. I love you. And when she said it that third time, I knew that she meant something different. And I understood. And she just said, I love you. And I need you to know that I love you. I admire you. I look up to you. You're this, you're that. And I said, okay, sis, I understand. And so things shifted between us that day. I understood she was saying something different to me, and things shifted between us. Okay. So in January, she had already had an issue with her knee, and she went in for surgery. And she came home from surgery, and about a week later, the incident happened. Her medical episode happened. And it was just shattering. It was just shattering. We could not believe that she had gotten as sick as she got as quickly as she got. So it was just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. For me personally, um, and I'll interject this here. When I tell this story, y'all, I'm only going to tell my story. I'm not going to tell her story. I'm not going to tell her sibling's story. I'm not going to tell her children's story. I'm not going to tell her parents' story. I'm not even going to tell my children's story. I'm only going to tell my story because I think out of respect, um, everybody has the right to tell their own story. Now, of course, there's some overlap between my stories and their stories, but I'm only telling my part. So you will only get Virginia's experiences. So I do want to put that disclaimer there. I'm not telling anyone else's story but mine. If you notice, I haven't even said her name yet because I'm not telling her story. This is my story. And so, anyway, got the phone call. She was sick, desperately sick. Um, we spent 8 months 8 weeks in the hospital before she woke up again. 8 weeks waiting for her to come back, waiting for her to wake up. Um, and finally, right before her birthday, she woke up. But before she